Hey everyone, I'm glad you could join us here today. This week we are talking about humility and the importance of humility in our lives. And today I just want to talk to you for a few minutes about what it means to humble ourselves before God. Somebody has said that when we fully understand who God is, we won't be prideful. And when we fully understand who we are, we can't help but be humble. When we understand who we are in relationship to a mighty, powerful, holy God, we can't help but humble ourselves before him. Peter addressed this issue in 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6. He says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you at the proper time." Peter tells us here, he says, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God." Because Peter understood this truth that he wants you and I to understand today, is that when we live in pride and arrogance before God, what we're saying is that I can handle my own problems, I can solve my own issues, I can change the people around me in my own strength, and I don't need God. But when we humble ourselves before the mighty hand of God, what we're saying there in essence is, God, I'm trusting you to solve my problems. I'm trusting you to take care of my issues. I'm trusting you to change the people that I can't change. Because you see, humbleness is the pathway to trust. If we're fully going to trust God in our lives, we must humble ourselves before him. And what Peter tells us here is that we are to humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God so that he may exalt you at the proper time. You see, God's time and our time is not the same, but when I humble myself before him, he will exalt us at the proper time. It reminds me of my life just several years ago. I was working at really a dead-end job. It was not fulfilling in my life. I was looking at all the people that were working around me, and I just did not like the job whatsoever. And I remember just praying and asking God, God, just change the circumstances, change the situation, change the job. I don't deserve to be here. When in essence, what God was teaching me through that was this pathway, this roadway to trust was humbleness. And I had to humble myself before him and simply do my best at the job in which he had placed me and just humble myself before him and trust that he was going to exalt me in the proper time. And that's exactly what God did. After I learned to humble myself and trust him, he exalted me at the proper time. And what I learned through that process and what I want to pass on to you today as we think about humbling ourselves under the mighty hand of God is to stop trying and start trusting. When I humble myself under the mighty hand of God, I'm going to stop trying to solve everything in my own strength. And in humbleness, I'm going to come before God and trust that he is going to do what only he can do in the time in which he is going to do it. I want to encourage you today, as you go through your day today, that you would just reflect on the idea of humbling yourself under the mighty hand of God and trusting that he is going to do everything that needs to be done at the exact time.